We are just going to end this film shoot being fabulously wealthy. This cost some serious money. I'm looking at gold. Be worth $1 million in Australia. So we are very close to being Australian millionaires at this point. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Eager Beaver Outdoors. I'm your host, Anthony, and I once more greet you from our top secret underground bunker. Today's video is so incredibly exciting because we get to do our very first unboxing. Even more fun is the fact that this is an unboxing from a parcel that we received from Australia Post. That's right, from the land down under. I know it's an overplayed song, but I beg your forgiveness, I couldn't help it. We are so happy because this comes from the reenactor group SitRep Vietnam, which I believe is located in New South Wales, but it is such a massive, massive parcel. We did not expect to get that much equipment, especially as a donation. Very generous on their parts. Further, all you boys and girls will probably be really hyped up to know that not only is it Australian surplus, it's Australian surplus from the Vietnam War and era. Now, without further ado, don't let me hold this up anymore. We're gonna get straight into this unboxing and wait till you see the size of this box. Tauntaun, would you please pass me the box gently? Oh God! Oh!
Are you good, Anthony? No. Alright, we gotta cut,
Wow, this right here. This is a big package, can't you tell? Blocking a lot of our camera space, but don't worry. We're gonna get to unboxing momentarily, okay? Give me a second here to politely open this in a safe manner. Oh yes. Yeah, that's heaps good. I'm not certain you can see what I'm seeing, but I feel like I'm looking at gold. We're going to put the box here off the table since it's so massive, and then I will just blindly start pulling items from it and we'll talk on them a little bit. This will be fun because I have very little idea what I'm looking at right now, but I'm excited. Again, all from the Vietnam era. Give me a second. Okay. Now, to start off our Vietnam unboxing, let's go and randomly pull our very first item. Oh yeah. So this, I believe, is the M56 E-Tool cover, or entrenching tool, specifically the Australian pattern. And what is really cool about this is that it looks very similar to the American, minus some of the leather fashionings you'd see on there, like for keeping your bayonet in place. What you notice right away is that it has a different pattern on it. It has this semi-camouflage look here, just some darkening. It's interesting because it's similar to other items I've seen. So the Australians had a 2-quart water bladder with an extremely similar pattern to this. But what else you'll notice here is the fact that it has a slightly different siding here, just for your corner pieces. And the fabric is a lot lighter than what American manufacturing had at that time. I still believe that this is full cotton, what we're looking at here, but it's really lovely and it's really fun to see that. This is pretty much near impossible to find within the United States of America, and certainly if there was one, it wouldn't be affordable. So this as a gift is really phenomenal. I'm going to put this over here and we'll keep going through the box. Let's see now what our next surprise will be. Nice. Look at this here. I think I grabbed 2 items. One here looks like a spider, and the other one here looks like webbing and guard. Yes, right here. All right. So this right here, I believe, is the M56 pattern of shoulder strap. So throw it over, strap in your goodies. But unlike the American version, guess what? It's Australian. This one's in really good shape, honestly, too. The padding on this is really nice. Some of these just disintegrate over time. The hooks on here actually are almost the exact same as what you see in America, too, though I'll be honest. It doesn't show on camera, but you can feel it in the paint that it's a bit different. Some of the casting is a bit different as well. And that might just be for the fact that with what we're looking at here is either one, just in really, really good condition, or two, and more likely, is the fact that these aren't just made for the American M56 magazine pouches, which would have been holding the likes of M14 or M16 ammunition, generally in a 20-round magazine, but it would have been for the SLR, so the self-loading rifle, the L1A1, which was extremely common for the Vietnam era. Really cool to be holding this. Let's move on to the next bit here that came riding along with it. I think this right here for us is something known as a spider. Let me see if I'm right. It's a big mess, so it has to be a spider. I can't get it straightened out, so it almost certainly is a spider. Yep, the nickname spider is just a nickname. This is actually the M56 Sleeping Bag Carrier. Now, I have an American one at home, but to have one that was possibly Australian made is really cool. When we look at the metal tips here, some of these can be anodized aluminum, so they kind of have a greenish tint sometimes, and some of them will just be kind of a straight cast. These have the black tips, so I can't really tell with these, but it's highly likely, yes it is. These are Australian made because they have the defense marker here. On this belting loop system here, you'll notice it right away. Point is this is used to carry your sleeping bag, although it soon became apparent during the war that these were extremely hard to function with, and you could only carry your sleeping bag. It's hard to get onto your webbing, it's hard to carry, and it's very specifically built just for a sleeping bag. And how often do we really use a sleeping bag or roll in the field? More often than not, these would be used to carry something like a poncho, or you just get rid of it. And it was because these items kind of failed outside of the world of basic field exercises and basic training that we start to see the introduction of much larger rucksacks by 1966 and 67 for the Vietnam War. Still, this is just beyond cool. Yeah, I fancy it. Let's go into our next surprise here from the Vietnam unboxing, Australia edition. We're not looking, we're just reaching in. I feel something big and rubberized. Kind of scary when you think of it. Oh boy, I know what this is right away, and wow, these are in great shape. These have probably never been worn because they still have the factory outlets here for the insert of the rubber there, just the applicant when it's going through the press. Anyhow, this here is a GP boot. That means general purpose boot. If I look at this, judging by the tread on here, it's not the Vietnam era, it's the 1980s, I believe. But at the same time, it's really cool. It's very similar to the American service boot of the Vietnam era. You'll see that it doesn't have any embroidery up here or an extra bit of leather to cover the toe, but it is reinforced here on the underside, mind you, not steel-toed. The biggest thing that'll give it away here is the fact that it's really just these two basic cuts. You have the main body, and then you're just going to have the overall ankle support going up here. Really nice. This one doesn't even have any shoestring in it, but it has a partner over here. Give me a moment. Yeah, it does. Got something in it too. Let's take a look. What's this? What do we got? What do we got? I can hear it. Oh, wow. I got Australia dollars here. 1966. Queen Elizabeth II. That must be worth $1 million in Australia. Or American. I don't know how to talk about that here. 20. Oh, it's got a platypus on it. That's fantastic. I like that. Although we're eager beaver outdoors, it probably would have been nicer if they had a beaver on it. After all, beaver's my favorite Australian animal of all time. But thank you, that's really lovely. I'm gonna put that right there. That's big money where I come from, son. Anyhow, sorry. This is the Australian GP boot. This is a general purpose boot, and it would have been utilized in the likes of Vietnam all the way up into about the 1980s, I believe, even probably the 1990s, going on to even the instances of use in Timor. If I'm correct, I'm happy to be proven wrong. Still, these are in marvelous shape. I mean, they just need a little bit of buffing and they'll be good. And a new pair of laces, but so happy to have these out here, because you just can't get these in America. You really can't, not for an affordable price. So let me put these to the side, and let's get on to the next bit. Now, let's get to the next one. Ooh, what do we have? Oh yeah, look at this. trying to tell if this is, I believe this is an SLR Magazine Pouch here. Yes, it is. So the difference here for anyone who's an American, or anyone who worked with equipment from the Vietnam War or had been there, you'll see right away that the overall top piece here, which is just going to cinch both ends, is a different shade of green than what they had in America. Further, you're going to feel that the fabric here, this cotton, is a lot lighter than what you have in the American systems. But also, it's just a touch larger. And why is this larger again? Well, it's because it was designed for the SLR L1A1 rifle, which was the standard service rifle of the Commonwealth, and in particular here for Australia. That round itself, I believe, is a 7.62 by 51 NATO, so it needed a slightly larger housing just for overall comfort and ease of use, unlike the use of something like a 5.56 round, which would have been in M16 magazine pouches. Really cool. I like this, and what's so interesting about these is that they're kind of a hybrid. They're mixing the latching mechanisms and stylings that you would have seen for the M56s used in the United States, but at the same time, they're still pulling some tricks from the Commonwealth. Also, what I just like about these is the fact is that they have pretty nice, easily accessible drainage holes, and the latches on these for the SLR magazines, if I can, they pop off pretty well, and you can hold just a bit more in there, just on occasion. That's just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like they're easier to use, and you know, if you're in the fashion, I guess it's pretty stylish too. Regardless, this is really cool. I think it has a partner in there, so give me a second. Yes, here we go. This one has seen a bit more use. Whoever used it before, his name was Frank, and I believe we got a service number up there, otherwise it's an inspection key. Really nice though, still in good shape, and again, really cool to have these on hand. It's nice to have the full set, so thank you for the donation, gentlemen. Let me put this to the side, and we'll get to the next bit really soon. Let's reach in and take another look. What can we find? Huh. We got another 20-cent piece. We are just going to end this film shoot being fabulously wealthy. Oh yeah, that one looks good. Again, I can't identify if this one's gonna make us millionaires overnight, but I appreciate the thought. Oh, and this one's 1969. That's very good. We're getting some variation here on our coin collection. We just might at this point end up being Australia's predominant coin reviewers. I mean, we could do a whole change of field here, you know. Eager Beaver Coin Company. It's got a ring to it. That, or we could get into the like of Bitcoin. And we're blindfolded again, sort of. Let's see what we get. Ooh, like the feel of this. What do we got? Oh, hello. Now this in the United States is rare. I know what this is right away. So this is a 2-quart water bladder, collapsible bladder, if you want to call it that too. And this is specifically the Australian variant. You can tell it's Australian because of, again, its lighter semi-waterproof fabric here, but it's most of all this pattern, this kind of splotching you see between darker OD green or jungle green and straight black. It's really, really similar to, I believe, the first pattern variant for the Americans, but the American variant had a slightly thicker lining here. It's hard to see on camera, but you can feel it by hand. And it just had one basic snap here at the front, which would tend to block your nozzle. What you would do with these in basis is throw them over your shoulder with this bag piece here, this basic strap, or you could run it around your belt loop, as you see here with this belt loop here. I'll be honest, they have a tendency to snap and break in their old age now, but it's pretty useful. I am not familiar with many men who served who actually used the belt loop on the back at the same time. It could have been done. Most of the time, they'd either just throw it overhand over their shoulder with this basic satchel here piece, or you'd just go ahead and tie it to your bag and keep it there as a reserve. These have a real nasty habit of puncturing, and unlike the later issued pieces that we see in bladders, like the 1967 releases and the ones we see in Desert Storm, these are a lot more prone to exploding. But that being said, it is so cool to see on this bladder system the markings up here. So we have the defense arrow at the top of the cap showing it comes from the Commonwealth, and we have a print date on here. It was produced in 1971. Really, really cool. Again, it's actually a really nifty system. I think the biggest issue with these is the fact that these snaps tend to get in the way of your overall access to the cap. You could kind of shift it over if you wanted to, but really you'd have to pop this open to use it. But I love seeing these. Real quick note as well with these. We generally only see this in the 5-quart variant, that they were utilized as flotation devices for something like safety or river crossings. But if you really were up the creek, you can open these up. You're supposed to blow into it, fill it all the way as you can, and that'll help give you some buoyancy on a really rough passage. It's not the best in the world, it's kind of a last-ditch effort, but at the same time, it has use and it might just get you out of a sticky situation. This one here is gonna need a good heap of cleaning, but at the same time, it's so cool to see. These are so beyond rare in the United States, so if you ever get lucky, look for that defense arrow at the top, check the markings here to see what year it was made, and look for a pattern one cover like this with that splotch styling there of paint, that more camouflaged jungle camo look. Because if you find that in the States or really across the world, you've got yourself a pretty decent collectible item there. Just getting so rare throughout the world. In Australia, maybe not so much. For us, very much so. Thank you, gentlemen. This is a highlight of my day. Let's go on to the next. Now, let's reach into the mystery box for our very next fun piece. Let's see what we get. Feel around. Oh, hello. Look at this. Oh, this is really cool. So this is a case, a bandolier here for 7.62mm linked ammunition, 100 rounds. Really cool. It's been marked out a few times here just for other use in the field, but it still has the same point. This is really cool too on this. Oh, wow. We don't see this in the States. You have basically the shape of a bullet here on the flap. It almost kind of looks like some kind of militant purse if you think about it. It's really cool. So what we have in the States would have been for the M60 machine gun, and Australia had that as well. And they definitely could have been using it for that, because I see on the back here, it says 5.56 ammunition, yeah, ball, 5.56 ball. So they could have been feeding that kind of linked ammunition here as well. And I'm certain that they also utilized the American bagging system as well for ammunition. But this one here is labeled 1965, and it's got the defense arrow on it. So it's a piece from the Commonwealth. What we had would have had a basic cardboard box with 100 rounds of linked ammunition. There would have been no cover at the top, not like this. And you would have had on the back side here some kind of a basic cotton strap, kind of like a bracket that you would take and mount onto the M60 machine gun and then feed the ammunition through belt onto it. That being said, it actually wasn't very popular. More often than not, you'd see men just rip the linked ammunition out of these baggies, out of their cardboard boxes, and just throw them on their neck and run from there. It was just easier to work with. And, you know, to be fair, it does look really cool in the field, I'll give them that. But yeah, this is really different for us in the States. I've not seen a design like this, really. We'll have to study this a little more. I think this is really cool. And again, it's an original from Vietnam, from Australia, 1965. It's beginning to feel like my birthday. There's just so many surprises in here. I'm getting kind of dizzy. But let's continue. Let's go in and grab the next item. Let's take a look. See what we find. Oh, cool. Another bandolier here. This one's in really good shape, too. There's a nice thickness to this, so I'm assuming, I don't see any markings on here, but I'm assuming that this is for the M16. Oh, there we go. See some minor markings on the back, but I can't quite make them out at this time. Regardless, this is a 7-pocket setup here. You have 7 magazines on your person. This should be for 5.56. Really easy design. I mean, simply open up the top, drop your magazines in, you're good to go. You can carry spare ammunition. But what's crazy to me is this almost feels like it was never issued. It's just the quality of that fabric. I have American-made ones at home, but you'll notice a slight difference in the tint of color here. The jungle green compared to American OD. It does have a difference. So it's really cool to see this. We'll have to do side-by-side comparisons later, but for now, it's just fun to be looking at this. Really, really charmed to have this. I mean, it's just in exceptional shape. Really cool. I'll roll this up for now and we'll move on. But again, I think it's a dandy. I like it. Now, let's see what else we have here. We're reaching into our mystery box. Let's see what we get from Australia. Oh. Oh, wow, this is cool. You gotta give me 1 second to look at this. All right, all right. So, these here are from the Second World War. This is a P37 pouch, ammunition pouch. Specifically, the marking here is for the Mark III, and this has to be very similar. Now, you'd be carrying these on your person fairly often during the war, and these would see extensive use in Vietnam, and that's what we have right here. These have been modified for use in the field in Vietnam. Generally, when you would have been wearing these, they were designed to be worn fairly high up, above the waist. However, when you look at that, it doesn't give you much clearance to get low on the ground. So this is a field modification they would have done. They've cut out the siding here at the very top, and they're running their M56 belt straight through it here, or whatever pistol belt you had on hand. That way you could get a low slung magazine pouch set up and ready, and either keep it lower for better coverage, slide it to the side more for a bit more ability to roll and keep things out of your way, and further just an opportunity to carry more ammunition, because these were not designed for the likes of the M56 belt. After all of these eyelets that you see on here come from the M1910 United States clip system. This is really cool. I don't know if these were done after the war or if what we have here in the box were done during it, but still, it's the right styling, and it's really, really cool to just have on hand. Did not expect to see something that cool. It's a really fun bit of history. We'll have to keep moving on now, but I'm hoping in future essays we can come back and talk on this a bit more, because the variety of customization that the Australians and later New Zealanders really used in their equipment, to me, just still leaves me in a bit of a daze. It was really inventive, and it made a great way for innovation in the field for the future. I'm going to quit yakking on that now, and let's see what else we have in the box. Let's reach in now and find what we have next in the box. Take a look around. Ooh, this is heavy. I actually have to use 2 hands. Okay, wow. Okay. Oh, I'm knocking stuff all over the place. All right, this thing is loaded. But this might be the icing on the cake, so to speak. This is really cool. This is something you do not see in the United States of America. This donation is the M65 style of Australian field pack. This was used to replace the more terrible system, like if you can still see it over here, the spider for the backpacking roll, and to give our gentlemen overseas a much better backpack. And this is just really cool to be holding up. They're so expensive in the States to even find, just shipping it from Australia. You can pretty much go nowhere in the States to find one of these. If you're in Australia, I remember as a boy, you could go to a Mitchell's goods store and you could find plenty of these. I don't know if it's that easy anymore. I really don't, but I think this is a first pattern. It's got stuff in it, so forgive me. It's going to be a little difficult to talk on, but I'll put it on its side and we'll start having a chat. All right, for starters here, you can see this loop here at the top. This would have been used for something like your E-Tool. You just run the handle through, latch it in, that's good. And at the very top here, you could just secure that in a little better here with this piece. You don't always see people doing that, but it's a possibility for you. What I really think is a fun detail to point out as well is that on all of your belting loops here, your buckling pieces, we have the defense arrow on it, which is just a really good and proper sign of Australia. That's beautiful. You'll also see that they have the Commonwealth style of buckle on this. It's something that we don't see in America very often because these are squared out, and what we have is generally rounded. I don't feel like I can do too much on this, but I also want to talk about what's on the back side right now. This was probably the smartest innovation that they had, which was just nice, soft, comfortable straps to be worn, and a brace for your back here. Almost like a kidney belt, but not quite, but it's good for lower lumbar support. You can feel it up here as well, just going below your shoulder blades into the upper blades, depending on your height. Really nice, and it's reinforced in the back. You can feel this, that there's a box cut. Really good. This was extremely innovative, and I can't tell you just how humbling it is to have one of these within our collection now and to take it into the field later and really talk on it. It's incredible for us. I mean, it really is, because this backpacking system is just something that we can't pick up at all in the United States. I really mean that. I am just a bit awe-inspired right now looking at it because it's a piece of equipment from my forefathers that I never thought I'd get to touch. Really cool to see. We'll be doing some serious essays on this, but you have to give me a moment. I'll have to put this down because I can tell that our donors have left a ridiculous amount of equipment inside of this. We'll get right to it. Go figure, when I was reaching around in the straps, by the way, real quick, we found another 10-cent coin here. This one's from 1967. I'm not going to talk on this too much, but at this point, I believe the total amount in cash that we have in Australian dollars now is about 60 cents worth of Australian money. So we are very close to being Australian millionaires at this point. I think I'm probably going to sell my shares here in the United States and I'll just go over to New South Wales. I bet it's really cheap to live there. Really cool to find. I have transitioned the backpack over here to the side. I'm going to have to put this down because this thing is absolutely stuffed full. I mean, it weighs a good ton, I'm certain. So I'm going to start reaching in at random and we'll start pulling out the smaller bits of heraldry here and see what we find. Let's get started with the basics. Here we go. What do we got? It's a Hexamine stove. This is really cool and I can tell it's been used in the field. You'll have to forgive me, gentlemen. I don't quite know if this one would have been fully utilized for Vietnam based upon the color. If our sources are correct, I would believe that during Vietnam, this Hexamine stove here would have been a different color. It would have been sort of a gold tint because it would have been a mix of materials of copper and aluminium. So it looked really pretty. This one is just more of a tin coloring, but these are really useful. You can still buy them now in most sporting goods stores. It just folds in, folds out. It functions as a cheap stove. You'll take the likes of a Hexamine tablet or any kind of a fuel tablet. You'll drop it there in the center. You'll set it afire. You can put any kind of a pot overhead and you begin cooking and all the ashes just fall through. Using this in the field, if you were in a combat situation, I would be a bit reticent of because it might give your position away, but they're great for camping and this is a real dandy to have on hand. That's real cool. Put it to the side. Very pleased to have this in the collection. Thank you, gentlemen. And let's see what we have next in the bag. Oh, cool. We have two items here. This is a bit of cord, probably for something like a tent. I will put this to the side for a moment, and we might find what it actually goes to in a minute. But this right here, this is really cool. This is a cleaning roll, but there's a specific rifle that I'm excited to talk about here in a bit. We open up this cleaning roll and it is for the SLR rifle, and you can be real proud of this one because you can tell it's been used. It's absolutely filthy. We still have little bits here of cloth for cleaning. They smell like gun grease and a bit of cosmoline if I'm honest, but those to the side. What we especially have, which is really cool right here, this is a multi-tool in this piece, I believe. If I can even get it out and show it to you, it's going to be stuck. Hang on, here we go. Yeah. If you wanted to disassemble your rifle in the field, you'd really want to have this on hand. It's got a variety of pieces to help just with your cleaning and maintenance, as well as to actually screw pieces in and punch pins. Really cool, really neat. Then as well, I won't get too dirty here, we have a basic tube here for grease. So you keep your gun nice and well oiled and cleaned. We have a cleaning brush right here, made of plastic, but very useful, very nice. Very pleased to have that, and you want that in your kit. And then we got a bit of rope right here. It's essentially like in the United States what you would call a boar snake. You just tie it up in a big fat knot, and you run this through your rifle, drop it straight down, push it through if you need to with a cleaning rod, and you're just gonna run it through and keep things relatively clean. Also, if you get bored, you can hypnotize people with it or use it as a pendant. Very fun. The great thing about this, though, is that it folds up really nicely. It's the roll here itself, which I think is the most innovative and useful, because you put your primary 4 items here and anything else you need extra. You can roll it up, and then you keep that on your person. It doesn't always work, but depending, some of your later rifles actually have a plate on the back where you can store cleaning supplies. It doesn't always work with the roll, like I said, but you can stick those items in there and keep them safe. Just roll it up pretty nicely in your own homemade roll. But this, I mean, on your person is invaluable in the field. If you kind of look at the table here, it's certainly old and it's falling apart, but really, really cool piece for the L1A1. And I can't wait to be talking on this more because we might have a special that involves a bit of use with this. But I'll keep my lips shut until then. Let's move on to the next mystery box piece. All right, here comes the next bit. Are you ready? Reaching into the mystery box. Ooh, hello. Right away, defense marker right there, property of the Australian military. I don't even have to ask questions. I know what this is right away. This is a Hootchie. This is the basic ground sheet for the Australian sleep system. Now, I do not see markers for a date, and we'd probably have to open it up a bit further. But I like those, the fact that I can smell it's been used in the field. Oh yeah, here we go, right here. So this one's actually from 1992, listed shelter individual. And hey, it came out of Melbourne. I had family over there. Good place except for Montague Bridge, stay away. This is really nice, that's really cool. So I am under the impression when I look at this Hootchie that it is the same pattern and cut as Vietnam, it's just a few generations removed, probably when it was being phased out. I tell you right now, a lot of soldiers would use this as their total sleep system. They wouldn't use the inflatable mattress they were given, they wouldn't even carry something like a bug sheet when you were in a combat area. You'd either have your Silkie, or you'd have something like this. You just throw it over your top, wrap in almost kind of like a sleeping bag, and hope for the best. It also made for a really good impromptu shelter. You could set it up a bit like a tent. They're not bad. It's just good, heavy industrial plastic, and it's green. Really happy to have that. We're running out of space on the table here from all these cool donations, but I rather feel like a king in his court at the moment. We're gonna have to actually reach in pretty heavily here now. Things are getting stuck in the box. Oh, this is expensive if it is what I think it is. So in the States, this is hard to find. This costs some serious money. Notice this kind of splotched pattern on here and the light cut of the fabric here. This, I believe, is an Australian poncho from the Vietnam War. These are impossible to find in the States. That's no joke. Yeah, I think it is. Let's see if we can find a tag because this is a poncho. And the coloring seems right. We're hitting a bunch of mesh. Here's the headpiece. Let's take a look at the tag, boys and girls. Oh, that is nice. Look at this here. All right, this is from Victoria, 1967. That is an impossible find in the United States of America, I tell you right now. That is really cool. So it's really neat to talk on these. It's going to be hard to show. I'll put it on my person later so you can see it. This will be a hard one to glamorize. The Australians, along with most of the Commonwealth, had really struggled with the likes of a poncho. Many people still had the 1908 systems, these just larger tarp-like covers that didn't even have a hood. They weren't the best, and they'd been used for a very long time through Malaya and into Vietnam. This here was a major innovation of the war. It was an extremely light-cut, water-repellent material, had a very nice, large cape over here to go around your neck. On top of this, it had venting, really excellent venting. You can see the mesh here. There are several areas here where it just allows you to breathe so much more nicely. It's extremely comfortable to use. It was customizable. It was used in a variety of ways, from the likes of a shelter to, again, a proper poncho. Something I'd like to bring up about the Australian poncho as well is that this was really beloved by American Special Forces because it was so light, so comfortable, so versatile, and it just allowed for that greater breathability. Also, the camouflage in here was better. It was better in almost every way compared to so many of the 1959 ponchos that were given out to American servicemen. These were highly prized. And I'll tell you now, to get this in the United States of America, you'd be extremely hard-pressed. This is expensive. It really is. So it is just beyond cool to have this on hand. Really, again, just so humbling to have a piece like this. We look forward to talking about it more in the future. For now, unfortunately, I'm going to put it to the side. But wow, that is a real unexpected find. That's a real treasure, I'll be honest. But on to the next one now, boys and girls. All right, the supplies just keep mounting up, and this thing is only about a quarter of the way emptied out. So let me start reaching into the pockets here on the side. Let's see what we can get out here from the Australian system. What do we have here? I'm gonna have to open this up and read the tag. I'm scared to make a mess. It feels kind of like a Silkie, but I could be wrong. It's a ground sheet, I believe. It's got plenty of grass on it. I'll give it that. 1 second, boys and girls. Let me find the tag. Okay, I know what this is right away, boys and girls. We can't do a full demonstration, but if you notice, there's a cutout right here. This is for a mattress. This is a really innovative system. It was both terrible and great. I don't know how else to describe it. This is the Australian sleeping system. The tag that we have here says 1979, but it has very little variation compared to what they would have been using in Vietnam. So you have tabs up here that you'd open up, and what you would do is insert inflatable tubes into these different pockets, and you'd sleep on it just like a big comforter. It was a very smart idea. I want to give them that credit right away, because that separation from the ground is very good for you. You lose a lot of body heat when you're on the ground directly. Further, the likes of foreign contaminants, insects, etc. can get to you. So it's a good idea, but the big issue is you'd be sleeping in a field and you'd wake up in the morning to find your mattress was deflated. Also, it's just a lot to carry, but this would also be used as the likes of a makeshift ground sheet or a cover because it's semi-water repellent. Really cool piece to have here. I don't know where I can put it on the table. I'm running out of space. It's going to get kind of draped over here. Still, I think this is really, really cool. You'd never find one of these in the States. I don't know anyone who has one. That might just be a future essay coming up. I look forward to camping on that if we can find the rest of that system, mind you. Let's reach into the pocket over here on our backpacking system now. Let's see what else we have. This feels a bit more firm. Hello! Oh, look at this. Let me make sure I got everything there real quick. Yep. All right, this is a mess kit, also known as a Dixie. Oh, that's really cool. So right away, you can see here on the marker, it's got the defense number on there. It's got the defense marker on there, and I believe this is 1968, 6 out of 68, yes. So it would have been made right on time for the Vietnam War. What I like about these is I think several of these are still in the system. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. All right. So we don't only just have the large pan and small pan. To start off, we have an original Fred on hand. I have a basic one that was given to me as a gift from 2007 when I was much shorter and far more attractive. But that is so cool. The Fred is something that American servicemen would really compete over to get during the Vietnam War because of how clever it is. So it is both a P38 can opener, P50 can opener, and at the same time, it's a spoon. Really, really clever design. Really love these. So cool. I don't know if I can see a manufactured date on here, which is a pity, but it is just so cool to be holding an original. I can just barely make out these numbers here. I'm not certain I can read it in full. Looks like 1983 is when this one was made. I don't know if that's going to show up on the camera, but doesn't matter. That's cool. And then here, we have a full set of utensils with the defense markings on there. And it says 1971. So you have a knife. You got a good fork right there. And you got a spoon. But what I love about these here is, if you notice, for starters, the spoon here has a cage attached to it. So starting with some basics here, you'll take the knife here in the front. You'll notice that it has basic divots here. We take that spoon and attach the male to the female ends. Then we hook those up to the spoon, close those in, give it just a touch of tension because it's needed for the system, and we just lock in here the overall cage. And you can carry the full complement, but use them individually. Really a smart system. I like these, I really do. We had something similar in Boy Scouts, but just the feel of this, coming from Australia too, yeah, I got some fanboy points. I quite like that. Other point here. This is an improved system of the Dixie. What they had during the time of the First and Second World War were much larger tins. In World War I, it was more rounded, almost like a kidney shape to contour to the body better. And then during the likes of World War II in Malaya, you had these tins, but they were much, much larger, most of them coming from England and some native manufacturing. Finally, though, they decided to size down towards the end of Malaya because what they had was far more than they needed. Great advantage of something this small, too, is the fact that it's going to cook a lot more quickly your food. But on the downside, you don't carry as much, but I'll be frank, You must have one hell of an appetite if you're loading both of these up and then eating them. Also, have any of you ever gone to the mess or the DFAC and actually enjoyed a meal? I'll be honest, I never have. I don't know how you could stomach that much food. This is so cool. You don't find these in the United States much at all. These will be going into the field in the future essay, for fact. Let me pack this up and then we'll get to the next one. All right, we're getting to the bottom here of the mystery bag. So, let's open up these lower flaps because I see things just protruding out of here. Also, just a testament to how good the Australian pattern of pack is. It's ridiculous how much our friends were able to stick in here. I mean, it's pretty much all around us. I'm impressed, I really am. All right, let's look at this. I know what this is without a question. Okay, give me a second to kind of do this cleanly here. Pretty well packed. Right. This is part of the Australian sleep system here. You see these here. We have these 3 rolls. Kind of look like an inflatable tube because they are an inflatable tube. There are 3 sections to this, each with 3 sections internally here for their own. We take those, we stick them into our basic mattress ground sheet here, we inflate it, and you're supposed to sleep on it. These are kind of infamous for failing, not because it's an overall terrible design. In fact, it was designed to be lightweight, ergonomical, able to break down and pack fairly easily. As a camper, that would be true. In the military, that's completely crap. Still, the biggest issue is the fact that it's heavy to carry and they tend to just burst and rupture when you're sleeping. You'll inflate your mattress at night and you wake up in the morning, it's now flat. These are cool though because they have the defense marker on them and they have a production marker here of 1985. I'm certain changes were made between Vietnam and the 80s, but at the same time, it's pretty much the same design in and out. The Australian sleep system, I mean, gets a lot of junk, but I do want to always say it's very innovative, it's very thoughtful. It pulled from a lot of research. The problem is research and practicality almost always equals some form of failure at some point. But I got a feeling now, with this in hand and the mattress, we'll probably be doing a sleep study for all of you fairly soon. That'll be swell. On to the next bit. Now reaching into the mystery bag of presents, what do we have here? Wow, this is pretty. I think we got 2 items here though, let me see. Nope, just one. This here, Mosquito Net. Super exciting. Tell you right now, as boring as it might be to look at, this can be an absolute lifesaver, especially just for sleeping and safe recreation. You have to keep in mind that the biggest killer in the jungle is going to be the likes of mosquitoes and the diseases they carry, including malaria, dengue, and anything that your body is not prepared to fight. You can take all the drugs that you want to help you stay healthy and clean, but this is just something that is comfort of life. Simply throw it overhead, try to keep your skin separated from that because they can reach through, and then you're essentially bite protected and can have a pretty cozy night. These are still used across the world now, and I can tell you I gladly use very similar items in the field to this day when we're in real nasty conditions. What's really cool about this as well, girls and boys, is that this here is an original from the Vietnam War. We've got our production marker here, year date 1969, and it's got the defensive marker here, that upper facing arrow. That is really, really cool. I don't have much else to say about it at this time other than we're happy to have it, and we're going to put it with the Australian sleep system. Really, really cool find here. We're reaching in now, and I look forward to sharing it with you boys and girls. Let's see what we got. Oh, hello. Little dirty, but that's okay. I believe this is a Silkie. Yes, I believe it is. We'll have to take a look at the production date, but this is again part of the Australian sleep system. You guys will probably be getting real sick of me showing pictures of what the sleep system looks like, but hey, it's all good. Essentially, it's just a giant blanket that you will tie down and secure in. You can also throw more layers within it here, within the pocket. You can take the likes of a wool blanket, throw it in, secure it with these as well. and keep it secure and cozy. That being said, if you're in a jungle environment, I don't know many guys who use the likes of a wool blanket to fill in. You'd probably just take this, cover up, and be cozy. This should be more than enough warmth. But this is beyond cool to have on hand. I mean, we don't see these in the United States at all. They also make for a pretty decent, cheap, and affordable sleeping bag of sorts because it's going to close here at the foot and then opens up all the way to the head, and you just have to secure items in. I'd like to find a tag for you boys and girls, but all I've seen is the basic service production marker. Oh, hang on. And here's our production tag right here, boys and girls. Let's see if we can get a date. I see 1973. It's a little hard here to read because it's folded over, but we have 1973. And it does have the mark of the Defensive Forces for Australia. Really nice to see. You would not find one of these Silkies very easily at all in the States. So happy to have this, so grateful to be given this. And this is now going over here with all of our sleeping equipment. Wow. This is quite a lot to look at, but hang on, there's one more piece. I'll put it up here and then we'll give a nice conclusion, huh? Ladies and gentlemen, here is our last item of the day. And I gotta admit, this one's a bit of a mess. Let's see if we can find a tag on it real quick, because I believe what we are looking at is a sleeping bag liner, specifically for hot environments. Here we go. This was made in Australia, go figure. 1971, and it does have the defensive marker arrow right here. Pretty cool to see. Yeah, so if you can tell right here, it's going to be hard to show on camera. A lot of these are going to be difficult, if I'm honest, for the sleeping systems. What you have here rather looks like just a massive sleeping bag. You have your toe piece here. So you run your feet in on this side, and then it's going to start joining here. We have snaps on the side, which you can insert yourself into, or you can run the cover over this liner if it does feel colder. This can also function something like a bit of a heavier gauge bug net if you're really up the creek, although you should really just stick to a traditional bug net. These are great though because they give you a bit of coverage, they're lightweight, they definitely breathe so much more and better than a standard wool blanket. And it helps maintain a bit of body heat while staying cool and giving you that coverage that you want in the jungle. This, I believe now, is the final item that we have to go over, and it's the last piece here of the Australian sleep system, which we're going to have a real swell time refolding and packing, but wow, that's been a lot of fun. Give me one final moment, boys and girls, and we will conclude our unboxing here of the Australian Vietnam era equipment. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, thus concludes our unboxing of all of this equipment from the Vietnam War, specifically from Australia. And I'd like to say that none of this would have been possible without the generous donations that came from the great Australians of K-Force Korean War Reenacting Group and SITREP Vietnam Reenacting Group. For these two wonderful reenacting groups, be sure to check out their Facebook link. We have it listed in the description. There's a lot of great content there from some extremely talented men and women. We really encourage you to follow this group. They are exceptional. These wonderful men and women of the Australian country gave us all of this equipment, which I can tell you now, most every one of these is near beyond acquisition within the United States without having to pay such a significant fee. Again, all of this was given in donation. And I promise all of you there sitting at home that all of this equipment will be put into the field for use in discussion of educational purposes, in particular for the youth and the next generation coming up, so that they understand the incredible sacrifices of their forefathers and learn that they have some of that great making within themselves as well. Again, within the United States of America, getting all of this together could easily hit near $3,000. That doesn't include the likes of the modern tariffs and shipping prices as they continue to fluctuate. It's ridiculously difficult to get these, so it's so humbling to have all of these. To anyone watching as well, if you'd be interested in donating to future essays, please reach out to us on either our Instagram or our Discord. We're happy to see if we can make an arrangement. But with that being said, boys and girls, we have to leave you now, unfortunately. If you've enjoyed today's content, be sure to like and subscribe. Further, if you want to stay up with our adventures in the field, be sure to follow our Instagram. The handle is right there before you. Further, be sure to hop into our free Discord. It's a great way to engage with the team, get behind-the-scene production photos, and just talk to us about history. Most of all, just know that we love to engage with you. Please always feel free to comment because we love hearing what you have to say, and we really enjoy hearing your own stories as well. Now, boys and girls, here from the Eager Beaver crew, this is Anthony signing off. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be seeing you.